So the last couple of years, our marketing message has really shifted, right? So historically, stagers have been able to say staging sells homes 88% faster and 20% more. If that doesn't just roll off your tongue, then you may be newer to the staging industry, but that stat is one that we should all know for sure. Staging sells 88% faster and 20% more. But as the market heated up, telling somebody that their house is going to sell in 1 day instead of 2 days is not a compelling marketing message, right? That's just wasn't working for us. So, okay, it's going to sell for more money. Well, people are seeing outrageous offers. So that also wasn't an extremely compelling marketing message over the last couple of years in this hot market. Are you guys feeling that? Like, I don't know what to say because stuff is selling without it. We mentioned builders were an incredible client for stagers, but builders were selling dirt. They didn't have any houses that were sitting that needed to be staged. So I want to, and really this is one of those moments that I don't have a specific prescription for you. This is why this group is great. But I do want to tell you one thing that we've noticed is that in this frenzy where things are going for crazy and people are jumping on that first offer, we started to notice that while things were going under contract, they were also contracts were falling through more often. And part of that was because buyers were jumping on whatever opportunity they found, and they weren't really in love with the property. So when it came to an appraisal that came back that wasn't high enough, or a scary inspection report, or interest rates that were going up and their payments were suddenly $500 more between the time that they signed the contract and the time they got approved for their loan. If buyers hadn't fallen in love with the property, if they hadn't made that emotional connection, then they were getting out of their contracts. And so that's really where we are centering our marketing message right now, is that staging creates that emotional connection. And as now we're seeing the market is shifting and with the interest rates, and there are just fewer homes both on the market but also fewer buyers. So there are fewer deals to go around. So agents are feeling that stress. They do not have as many deals. They don't have as many listings right now. So a deal that falls through is a much bigger impact for the agent. A deal that falls through for the seller is kind of always a problem, but right now it's a bigger deal for the agent because that's their mortgage payment that they were planning on for the month, So I want us to really think about that shift. In the last session, Debbie talked about dealing with difficult clients. So over the past 2 weeks, what have you discovered about how you could improve on how you communicate with clients? So I want to just raise your hand. And if you're ready to be vulnerable, I want someone who's brave to raise their hand and tell us, Lynn, all right. Can you unmute yourself and tell us how you could have improved how you communicate with clients over the last couple weeks?
Trying to get this box up here. So thanks for having us, and hello to everybody in the group.
Yeah.
I think that I've found, because I think this was in one of my chat questions last week, I think because we're in a different market, and because I think stress and anxiety is high. We have two clients. We have our realtor and we have our homeowner client, builder, whomever that is. We have the two.
Yeah.
And I've been finding it very challenging because they're very much, in what I call the heyday. They didn't care how much they spent on staging because they were going to get that plus back. Well, now it's much more tense. And so I've found myself slowing down to listen and not think about, okay, how am I going to respond, but listen to their needs and try to incorporate a personal story or a similar project to confirm, we're the right firm and we can get this done and that kind of thing. And I'm getting more people wanting to, they want to see the exact selections they're bringing in. They're like so worried that if it's just not right with everything going on in the market, that's also not going to sell their home in a timely manner and stuff. So yeah. I think it's more what I'm feeling like it's more important than ever this year to really communicate not only what we do well, but listen to them and really try to understand and sit in their shoes. So it takes more emotional effort, where I'd say the last 2 years took more like physical logistic effort. Like, yeah, we can do it, but that. Right. So I think that that's what I'm gearing myself up for this year.